long hours. So it's more like, more changing way to be visible for trainings. But it's a
Long
reality.
hours. So,
Hello?
I'm sorry, I'm not paying attention to. I'm like putting it on YouTube.
No, sure.
Excuse me, I'll be back in a sec. Sometimes I forget to put it on YouTube.
Mhm. So it's 8 o'clock.
Oh, okay. I probably missed a few. Can you see who's in the panel? I'll invite everyone in. Probably you got a couple of panelists here.
Yeah, Halim should be in panel. Halim or Rashid.
Yeah, I'm inviting all these people. I don't recognize the names.
Yeah, that one.
Alim, Rashid.
Yes, Halim Rashid is the one.
Right?
Yeah. Well, many people are already there, so we.
Okay, any panelists here now? Saeed, Ahmad, Saeed.
Halim is still not in panel. Halim or Rashid.
Can you see the panelist page? Can you see the people in the waiting room or no?
I see 3 people with the access to audio. I guess they all are in panel. No,
Okay,
Amin.
maybe they'll come in. I tried to admit everybody, so if they were going to come in, they would have come in. So why don't we start, okay?
Okay.
Hey, let's go. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good afternoon from Miami Beach, home of beautiful neurosurgical TV. We have the honor today of having Dr. Atta Bhatti, who I bumped into on the internet, and I was glad to hear he's basically doing what we're doing. Is basically to try to improve education, as among other things, in the developing world. And Dr. Atta runs an organization and website called Neurohealthcare for LMCI. And I've asked him, I didn't hear the organization, and I was really curious. So I asked him to do a webcast to kind of describe what he's doing and the history, the mission, etc. So I welcome Atta. Welcome, Atta. It's all yours.
Thank you, John. Let me share my screen.
Perfect.
Okay, am I audible?
Yes.
So first of all, thank you so much that you provided me a chance to interact with the international group of people, and also to introduce my organization and the work we have done so far and what we are planning in neurohealthcare. Just let me just do one correction of the organization name. It's Neurohealthcare for LMIC. So as the name indicates, LMIC is least, lower, and middle income countries according to World Bank criteria of GDP. So the first world almost all is in first higher income countries, and very few of higher income countries are uh, other than in Europe and US, and they all are in the Middle East mostly. So uh, we uh, would like to go through the neurohealthcare. Why is it necessary to have this global neurosurgery concept, and why it's growing interest amongst the international groups, and even in the international organizations like World Health Organization, United Nations forums, the G4 Alliance, global neurosurgery networks emerging from the leading universities. So it's introduction to this organization, to the colleagues, the neuro aspirants, medical students, doctors, neuro doctors in training, and it's not limited just to the neurosurgery, because it's other neuro specialties which are also important: the neurology, neurosurgery, neurointervention, neuropathology, and neuroradiology. So as you see from my title that I have a hybrid background of training as a neurosurgeon, uh, trained in Ahan University Hospital, Karachi, way back in uh, 2002 to 2007. And then I had more lower middle income country exposure in Africa, in Dar es Salaam, and then I did fellowship in endovascular neurosurgery. So let me just remind the World Health Organization's notion of world, um, the health for all. And in 2023 April, they celebrated 75th birthday of World Health Organization. And this dream of health for all is still very far from the reality. So we see that the new generation of change makers, they are capable of improving uh, this static health issues, inequities, and a lot of challenges concerned to the what World Health Organization has transformed into 17 goals. This was called as social developmental goals. So the health for all was the ambitious goal for 2000, and after that, the sustained developmental goals for 2030 um, were established to improve other parameters. And as we see that we live in the world where technology, communication, research, they are going to a pace never before uh, seen. And there are a lot of improvements in one spectrum of higher income countries. But the other extreme is that people are still struggling for the basics. So the tools and rapidly evolving scenario in higher income countries does not reflect the needs. And two-thirds of the world living in lower middle income countries are still deprived of the basics, like the basic anesthesia, the basic obstetric care, clean water, sanitation, and the basic facilities. Many of neurosurgical patients, they fail to see a neurosurgeon, and health is a luxury for them. So that's the reality. And this ambition of social developmental goals cannot be achieved without giving a due attention to the two-thirds of the world, which is 70%. And despite all the efforts by the global groups, you name a lot of groups, the enormous needs surpass the ongoing work. And we still have more questions than answers. How we can benefit the lower and uh, middle income countries and the people living there in the marginalized uh, parts of the world where the neurosurgeons are either not available, or they are available in hundreds to thousands kilometers. And the life-saving procedures, like sometimes in trauma related extradural hematoma, in practice, in reality, they don't get a chance to get treated. And these are potentially life-saving um conditions. And most of the trauma victims are in the younger age group. And it's not only the patient, it's whole family. And there is a vicious cycle of poverty and these sort of emergencies. There is no system um, which can pay for these unexpected emergencies. So the neurohealthcare is very important from the global economical perspective as well. And there are a lot of publications seen in recent decades, and the groups participating previously, before 2000, there was always a history of neurosurgeons taking interest to train people, to make the other countries more efficient in treating neurosurgical conditions. But what we are missing is the pace of development. The important thing is it's not identical, as there are issues in higher income countries, but the third party paying in the form of the government, the insurance is available. That's not the case in lower and middle income countries. So why me thinking this more more than many neurosurgeons who are happy working in a more tertiary care centers? Because I have worked and trained and grown up in those places where the basic health facilities are still not available to many. And if they are available, they are not available on the marginalized sites. They are not available in the urban parts of those places. And the tertiary care facilities are there in metropolitan cities. So uh, my base is from the mountains of Himalaya and Kashmir. And the initial years of my life were spent in the other side of the Pakistan, where desert part of the country is located, with the very basic facilities, and it were less uh, visible few decades back. So now there are some bright points, but still it's too far. There are many perspectives, planning, execution, long-term sustainability, and budget issues. The important most things is that the leadership, um, and the tertiary care facilities which focus on the marginalized societies, marginalized parts, are still having a vacuum, and I hope that the new generation will fill that in. So I would uh, see during many occasions the dying emergencies, the dead on arrival patients with extradural hematomas, because the accident was happened in a place where the first rescue system was not there, the initial resuscitation was not there. So many times the emergency rooms, they receive the uh, stress situations in terms of dead patients in many, or the cone patients. So um, initially, uh, initially we focused on a conventional way to get trained. So that was the case. But uh, behind all those stimuluses, so this aim and this desire to work for lower middle income countries, to work for marginalized people was there, and it strengthened with the time until we um, opened this neurohealthcare for LMIC, which is based in Geneva. We have our co-founders, Dr. Bernd Dobler, who is a neuroradiologist, and he was a colleague in University of Zurich Hospital when I was doing endovascular neurosurgery training with Professor Valavanis, and Mr. Halim, who is also a co-founder and has a background of management and finance. So let me just mention what was the mission after the background I shared with you. So the mission of neurohealthcare for LMIC is having accessibility, affordability, holistic approach, comprehensive care, and empowerment and sustainability of patients and families, involvement in the decision makings, and having timely treatment for life-saving or um, uh, the neurological disability, potentially debilitating conditions. So uh, we living in lower middle income countries, we still see very old diseases which we hardly see in higher income countries, like the nutritional deficiencies leading to neural tube defects, late onset huge tumors. We all see in routine. So brain starts brain health starts, brain development starts during the prenatal life. And taking care of mother is like taking care of growing brain and growing baby. And the initial most weeks are vulnerable. And we all know that still there are many undetected obstetrics and um, prenatal neural tube defects. And we even after the birth, the diagnosed cases of neural tube defects in the form of myelomeningocele are suboptimally treated, and many of them, they don't make up to a productive life. So um, there are still numbers which are very alarming, like the 250 million uh, less than 5 years age are potentially vulnerable to malnourishment and at risk of developmental problems. This is the data last 7 years of various platforms of and journals representing different global groups. And 70% of people with brain health issues, they are living in lower middle income countries. There are 70-fold disparity neurologically trained workers in lower middle income countries. These are the numbers, and these are not only the numbers. These are the demands, and these are the victims. So which are inviting people to look into that neurohealthcare as a serious issue for for the places, for the countries, for the economic parameters, and as a society which takes the burden. So if you see the top 10 causes of morbidities and mortalities, so there are many amongst those, more than half belong to the neurological complications. And there are many undetected, like dementia is hardly 1 in 10 patients, according to one report, is being diagnosed. So there are dearth of diagnostic facilities in many places. So 1 in 10 of dementia patients could diagnose lately, and they cannot get a chance to slow down their disease process and live a meaningful quality of life. Same is true for epilepsy, stroke, brain injury, Alzheimer's, diabetic neuropathies are very alarming in countries like Pakistan, India, where every fourth, fifth person above the age of 40 is suffering from the diabetes. Headaches are very common. The low back pain of the commons due to poor working conditions. So, so as I mentioned, that the mission and vision of neurohealthcare, this is the logo of our organization, remained the accessibility, affordability, holistic approach to all the phases of neurohealthcare, right from the prenatal, from the diagnostic to the treatment and the long-term care, which gives the patient chances, and it's also cross many specialties and many areas. So we established a mission which comprises of training, education, and awareness through many ways, conducting workshops, seminars, conferences, virtually and on ground. We have done many in last 1 year since we started our mission. We have at teleneuro services. We almost see patients every day in our teleneuro facilities, which is like a low resource setup, and we are trying to make it more organized, more resourceful. So we discussed with the groups, with the professionals, and other groups who are in position to influence the treatments, to change the scenarios of care and planning. And it's not only the neuro professionals or the neuro future aspirants or medical students. So there are many stakeholders involved, like the leaders in the lower middle income countries, the policymakers, so other specialities, the administrative people, and naturally, we are also looking at the industry, the improvements in the equipments and infrastructures, and we aim to find out the low-cost solutions uh, required, and we focus on the training, education, and the clinical improvement in the areas, starting from the basics to more complex things, starting from the groups of neurosurgeons train and get involved with us, and then making a sustained projects for the future. Who can join us as a volunteer? As I mentioned, that it's not only the medical and paramedical, medical students, neurosciences students. There is importance of biomedical engineers the IT finance management skills are the least developed in amongst the medical um, career pathways. So nobody teaches us until we get into the real world. So, in previous decades, there were billions of funding in terms of equipment became a dumping ground and a graveyard because there was no backup for human resource and equipment manufacturing. And one of the study mentioned that more than 5 billion of medical equipment did not use at the end user point of view, just because the biomedical engineering, the electricity, and the basic infrastructure was not supportive, and naturally the human resource trainings and the people who could run those equipments, that is also part of uh, sustained uh, sustained use of those facilities and equipments. Without that, we cannot think of having a smooth neurosurgical services to the patient. Similarly, we live in the era of uh, media and social networkings. So the journalism plays its role in public awareness. The youngsters trained in media are very important in terms of making help for the patient, families, and timely uh, helping the patients to get diagnosed, to come to that facility, and influence not only um, on the systems and the patient and families, but also to highlight these issues in the media, to to uh, to compel the politicians and other policymakers who are involved behind the health related needs to be fulfilled through their help. And this is where the journalism and the medical journalism and media plays its role, and it's very important in current era. So how we are working? So we are in contact with the many countries, lower middle income countries. The numbers are growing with every week and every month, and we build relationship with the Ministry of Health people, the tertiary care setups, the colleagues working in government and public sectors, and private sectors. A lot of general surgeons living in those areas where the neurosurgical facilities and trained people are not there, but they are in contact, and we provide them 24 hours online help. And we try to stand behind them while they try to do their best with the best available resources they have. So we also meet with the students, the neurosurgical societies. We do many clinical interactions. In fact, a regular weekly or bi-weekly meetings with the groups of neurosurgeons working in the countries. We introduce ourselves. We are in initial phases, so we meet the group of um, people, the potential donors, volunteers, NGOs working in Geneva, Switzerland, European capitals, and in international scenarios. And we are also trying to establish a relationship with the industry, because without them, we cannot move to a next level, which is more on ground provision of services and teaching in workshops and operating rooms and NGO suites. Uh, I'm sharing this Olympic museum and Olympic headquarter Luzon, where this track is reminding us that the journey in cycling, uh, although it needs stamina, it needs very high spirit. We come across many challenges. We come across many lows and highs. but we keep going. If um, I mean, if we want to reach to the target, we have to be on our toes. So, uh, it's very important to have a perspective, a mission with a vision, which we have, and the next most important thing is to identifying the gaps and challenges. Some gaps and challenges are generalized in all low resource setups, but others are very uh, different from one place to others, from one group to another group, and from public to private. And we are trying to get accustomed to those new knowledge, and which is very important to bridge the roles. And based on our technical training with the more know-how of cultural sensitivities and ground realities, we will be able to bridge the role, since we have our own experiences working with the similar challenges. So so we believe that we are in a position to to address those issues in a better way than those groups which are never been to these conditions. So the important thing is having the insight and having the experience of going through those challenges which are not always visible, and you have to explore that through the help of the colleagues working in those setups. And the idea is not to have a mission once a year, but it should be sustained. It should not be a safari once a year. It should be a sustained, visible effect which can benefit the local population, not only local population, but also the countrywide or regional patients, families, and the healthcare workers should get benefit out of these. Um, this is our website. So credit goes to Halim, who is working hard to make it more updated. And if people are interested, I have shared the links of this website addressing the updates, our activities, news, and different things related to our mission. And I have also shared a group of LinkedIn-based page, uh, which is a best and convenient tool for communication and updating what we are doing, and to find out the relevant people and like-minded people. Here are some examples of the range of countries and the range of topics we are addressing, the group of people, and different groups which we interacted in our exciting journey. We do a lot of um, public awareness campaigns. We have so far trained more than 30 countries neuroaspirants in the field of basic neurosciences. We do interact as um, the clinical scenario based uh, uh, meetings on a regular basis with the groups like Addis Ababa University and other groups. So far, more than or around 30 countries participant um, took part in our basic neurosciences, functional neuroanatomy, embryology, and other courses. And we also interact with a group of people as like the John is running a neurosurgical TV. There are other neuro groups which are interested to find out what is new and what is innovative, and how it can transform into larger canvas. So there are a group of medical students from different countries. We have many chapters. For example, in Gulf countries, in Lebanon, in SARC. Um, um, Members are also from the background of the African countries, and we are growing with every day and every week. So what we offer besides the educational things. So teaching, training is in the DNA of neurosurgeons, as John mentions. These are the words of John, that neurosurgeons have um, enormous interest in teaching, whether they are in outpatient, in society, on a screen, or in operating rooms. They always love to have people learn from them, since they have learned the hard way. So they realize that how important is to transfer that knowledge to the new generation, to the next generation. And there are also mentorship opportunities provided by us, the telehealth services. So the group countries, ministries, they contact us for planning their neuro-related future programs. We are working as a advisory roles for many people on a personal level, or from the perspective of the governments in many countries. So career counseling and research guidance is another area which we focus, and we try to interact with the medical students and neuroscience students, as well as paramedics, so to get them into the real clinical based and other research areas. And we try to either guide them or connect them to the experts who can help them writing and thinking in a um, more organized way, dealing the data, because data is everything. If we know the burden of diseases, the data, the needs, we can fulfill, and we can improve. So we are doing some projects in partnership, and we are open to have new partners and groups from the areas of neurosurgery, neurointerventions, neuroradiology, um, the basic neurosciences areas like the neuroanatomy, pathology, and neuroembryology. We are also focusing on the people expert in these fields to join us, and there are many ways to help us achieve our visions as a um, partner in fundraising activities, joining us as member, volunteer, as faculty, as a collaborator in our many in-person and virtual activities. Um, uh, the industry and groups can donate us equipments and instruments and surgical supplies, which are lifeline for us for executing our missions and fulfilling the needs of serving those areas and the healthcare workers to keep on doing that learned uh, s- learned areas to make an impact on their practice. So we would love to negotiate with the groups who are ready to provide us support for our missions, for our different events and workshops. If people are interested, they can always contact us. In the end of the this talk, I'll share my emails, and uh, we are available to discuss and interact. So also the partnership with the other groups, international organizations with the similar objectives is a part of way to do these things. So it's not uh, too long ago when this picture is reflecting the Sid Quaider at annual startup in Helsinki, uh, with wearing a escort cap and a device, with a claim that a new era of technology, um, controlling mind, and vice versa, mind controlling the machines, would be in horizon. People thought at that time that it's a crazy idea, but now it's proved that it's a reality. And this is where we are living. There are other improvements in the health field and innovations, like the genetic uh, front in the form of CRISPR, the biomarker-based diagnosis, the liquid biopsies, having very early diagnosis of various pathologies, neuromodulation therapies in the form of many devices. So the artificial intelligence, robotics, digital transformation, so it rapidly grown. But uh, we should we must remember that two-thirds of the world is still struggling. So it's our duty as a neurosurgeons to play our role um, as a global health educator, as a global health clinician, and uh, must give some attention to our role in the global dialogues. So involve with other colleagues in national surgical system strengthenings, integration of surgical care. This publication is addressing all the points, and uh, not the not the last but important one is the global public health. So the global neurosurgery targets are focused on self-sustaining, uh, creating the uh, creating the environment, inspiring the next generation, teaching, training, career counseling, providing equity of health, reducing the gaps, uh, and we as a group of neurohealthcare for lower middle income countries, our organization uh, believes that the fundamental role of local expert and leaders for their inputs is the four most important thing. Their leadership role, their inputs are valuables, and we are eager to network and invite them to tell us their needs. So, based on those needs, aspiration, and ground realities, we can only improve, and we can um, play our role, and we can solve the problems. So in this slide, you see the darker areas where there is a poor anesthesia, the poor surgical facilities, and you know the majority of the world is facing through the basic difficulties. So this is a little bit busy slide, but I'm just trying to trigger the thoughts on the multidimensional complex areas. So connecting the stakeholders, and the stakeholders are the administrations, the neurosurgical voices in government-based platforms, in um, in the public health domain. Uh, we have to have a better voice for dealing with the stakeholders. Our colleagues, like the tertiary care setup, there are many areas which needs the improvement hand in hand. Like if a neuroanesthesia, the neuropathology, our technicians, paramedics, uh, and caregivers, the neurorehabilitation experts, they are not ready to go to next level. We cannot deliver a change. People directly project and focus on the cutting edge solution, for example the stroke intervention therapies. But the reality is we have to prepare that ground first, to train people to have better neuro ICU care. Just doing a procedure is for the sake of procedure is not the ultimate goal. To bring in a change which makes the quality of life better for the patient families and as a whole for the society, we have to have a cost effective quality care. So the investment um, on training is the essential. Patient-centric care is the focus. Value of the cultural sensitivities are the way to make partners and collaborators, uh, authorities, the regulation bodies, and the people who are involved in the planning and budgetings. They must have, or there must be a representation from the neuro-related experts, and that's I mean that's fundamentally important to get the best help. So targeted strategies according to the need of that area, the hospital, country, or region. We should support our professionals getting the best training, getting prepared to deal with the common issues, the life-saving issues, and then the complex issues. So the industry engagement, because for example, I went back to my country in 2013 with the only practicing neurosurgeon trained in neurointervention, and the reality was that the industry was not ready to provide us uh, the inventories. And when we started the more complex procedures, I remember my first procedure was the basilar aneurysm coiling. That was a ruptured grade 1 uh, mid 40s patient. And the hospital I was working, the administration and the colleagues in emergency room, they were not aware of the available expertise, and the industry was not ready to provide us the um, more more broader range of equipments, but with a limited stock. I mean, I remember that same patient was refused by the hospital, and the family knew one of my mentor who was who was out of country and practicing in Gulf. He advised them to talk to me, and then we ended up doing that successful basilar coiling in that patient way back in 2015, and follow up till next 5 years was completely the disease free. So uh, the importance of our colleagues, our um, um, hospital administration, and the support of our colleagues is essential. And the neurology, the neuroradiology, and other fields are as important as the neurointervention, neurosurgery. We are dependent on neuro ICU experts. The neurorehabilitation experts are mandatory for bringing in the optimal potential of recovery. So the tailored approach to the available resources and available training, and then making the virtual or physical multi-speciality clinics, uh, um, and from the perspective of patient and families, it's important to have a consensus-based services where they can get their answer to their treatments. For example, there are multi-stake involvement in various diseases like the clipping or coiling. For AV malformations, there are three arms of treatment, or in fact, the conservative part, and then the microsurgical and endovascular, and the radiation treatment. And I have seen in lower middle income countries, um, the patients, they have to struggle to find out all the specialties and experts, and they end up becoming more confused where to go, what to do, because we lack the um, uh, dedicated and unified approach to the patient-centric answer. So it's a pleasure that more and more clinical tertiary services are now coming up with different meetings, like the vascular neurovascular meetings involving the regional experts, the neuro-oncology tumor boards and things like. But the requirements are much more than what it's being done so far. So the decisions are, again, it's best to have the local guidelines, because the person who's sitting in the first floor cannot uh, do a practical recommendation for that specific patient and that specific disease without knowing the ground realities. And we all know that the advancements in neurohealthcare in various fields, for example, in neuro care in form of ICP monitoring, the nursing care, um, the vascular and endovascular and endoscopic facilities, the equipments, the diagnostic uh, and hybrid operating facilities. But the question is, are these developments are trickling down to the lower middle income countries? Unfortunately, very few groups, very few people who are working in urban setups can get few of these innovations. And coming back to the social development goals, it's not only the healthcare elevation, it also is a trap, a neuro health problem. People, for example, with a potential glioblastoma comes to your clinic and ready to do whatever they could to find out the financial means. They're ready to sell their house, leading the whole family into the trap of poverty without having an insight what they are dealing. They think that the doctors have the um, uh, answer to all their problems, and the realities are very different. So even in the urban cities, we work in isolations. So people and groups working in few kilometer, they never meet each other. They never want the government-based facilities to be availed by the person who is available and who is ready to provide their services out of the routine working time. So the optimized use of the resources, the availability of resources is one problem. Even if uh, the resources are available, the suboptimal utility make them useless for the end users, which is patient, the families. And um, 17 out of 17, the more than 10 parameters of social sustainable developmental goals set by the WHO are fall into the categories where the health comes, and two-thirds of the world are at a desperate need to avail those. And lastly, I just remember my mentor, Professor Valavanis, who was a neuroradiologist by training, but from the heart, he was a neuroclinician, and he was a trainee to Professor Yashir Gill. Professor Yashir Gill uh, um, this week uh, was supposed to be present for his 100th birthday, but unfortunately, um, he passed away a couple of days back. Um, at- his contribution in the form of his teachings, his instruments designed by different companies, his knowledge trickled down in the form of books, and the his trainees and their trainees are a living example of the service which our peers have done, our previous teachers have done, and we are open to learn from them, and we are open to train and teach the next generation. Thank you so much for your passion and for your interest and time. Thank you.
Thank
Stop
you
here.
very much. Atta, I'm taking you off the screen here. Just exactly what I wanted. I wanted to hear about your organization and what you're doing. And you're doing a lot. And there's a person in the audience here that basically wants, Anita Shug wants to know how she can contact you to join your team. Can you just put your email in the chat box?
Yes, right.
I don't know where Anita's from. I don't
We
know if she
dropped.
wants to talk. There's
Yes.
another question. Once you got that. Okay, Atta is posting his email in the chat. So if you want to know more about his organization or contact him, you can do that. There's a question from Dr. Kriti Sawant. Suggestion, can you keep elective postings on certified fellowships? Do you do that at all, Atta?
Yeah, we we have plans to train formally once we uh, go through the initial establishment of our regional centers, and we will invite one of the um, mission step is we invite European and first world higher income country based medical students, and within the regional categories, because for many courses, many techniques, learning is becoming difficult. There are less fellowship slots, and army of people willing to come and do the long-term fellowships. There are many virtual training forums, and we are trying to reach to the places, the regional hubs, and very soon we will announce those initiatives. And we are in touch with the universities and final decision makers in those tertiary care setups. So rather than people coming all the way to the other corner of the world, they must have a regional center available, the regional mentor and faculty, and we would be happy to invite the young residents and neuro aspirants to join us for various.
Well,
And if
you
sorry,
know, I didn't mention, Anita posted that she's a Switzerland-based neurosurgeon, and she's been to Karachi, and also is really engaged in voluntary global neurosurgery. So she would be a good person to contact, I think. Sounds like it would be an asset to your team.
sure.
So Anita will get in touch with you.
Yeah, we welcome them to keep in touch, and
Yeah,
we'll be
you
happy
can
to.
put your email in the chat box if you want, Anita.
Yes, I will.
Otherwise, I guess Anna will contact you. And let's see, Fitri, are you there online or you're off the?
I'm listening, John. I'm
Hey,
listening.
welcome, Fitri. Any
Thank you,
questions or
John.
comments, Fitri?
What?
Any questions or comments?
Uh, um,
You don't have to. Let me just. Fitri is an anesthetist, correct, from Indonesia,
Yeah,
right?
yo, yeah. Yes, I'm from Indonesia, but I'm anesthesiologist. Maybe I'm interested in the neuro ICU. Is
thank you.
there any chance for it?
Yeah, Fatih, we will be in touch, and we'll keep you informed about the next initiatives and next missions.
Thank you so
Hope
much,
to have you.
Professor.
Sorry.
Thanks for coming, Fitri.
Thank you for your time.
Okay, any other comments or questions from the panelists? You can either post them on the chat or ask them live straight Uh, yeah, you know, I'm amazed at the power of Zoom. I've just been doing this for a long time. Even I remember when Zoom started. Uh, it took the place of Google Hangouts, but I'm amazed at the value of it as a teaching tool. And I think the world is ready for what you're doing, basically trying to connect the world together. We live in a fantastic time, Atta. I'm sure you realize. Well,
Yeah.
we have the tools of access. We have tools of education that were not existent. Video platforms. Everybody has a smartphone. Everybody has some kind of knowledge of the internet, and it's not going to go away. It seems to be increasing. Now, I mentioned to a friend when I walk down the streets of Miami Beach, 10 people now, I see 9 of them with smartphones. I mean, and a couple of years ago, it was maybe 5 people out of 10. Now it's 9. Everyone has a smartphone. It's a tremendous tool in third world countries that have Wi-Fi. That means you have access to the best education in the world, as good as the Harvard Public Library at your fingertips with a smartphone. And to me, the interactivity is the part that I really like of being able to exchange ideas, meeting people on a personal basis, seeing them face to face. Like Atta, I didn't know him well, but I talked to him a couple of times. I feel comfortable with just calling him and talking to him
Yeah.
rather than an email. Emails sometimes are necessary, but I don't pay attention to my emails. I pay more attention to when I talk to people. And I think that's something that students should remember. Neurosurgeons remember your face more than your email.
Yeah.
So,
The face recognition is very important tool. I just want to add, I agree what you said, but the unfortunate part of technology transfer is we get the cell phone of new model within weeks, but the more larger needs for a neurosurgeon. I remember Professor Yashir Gill sitting in our fellow room mentioning that we spend hours, at least 8 to 10 hours in operating room and few hours uh, while going back to home from hospital in a car. But we see more modern cars and more luxurious cars in lower middle income countries. But we don't have the new options of technology available to us. Like many places don't have uh, MRI facility available. So I was seeing one of my colleague from DR Congo 6 months to 1 year ago that for a population of more than uh, 20 million, if I'm not wrong, they had first MRI in private sector, very first time, couple of year back. So this, I mean, this is matter of priority, and also the requirements because the population is increasing very fast, and the number of neurosurgeons, the number of training, and the we do have scholar neurosurgeons, but the people who are ready to take care of patients, their needs are becoming less and less with time. So the slots for training are important, but um, there are many neurosurgeons who are willing to teach their experiences. They are not always lucky to find the teaching setups for one reason or other reason, especially in these areas. So it's a blessing, and the great work by you started in 2016, which I mean provided a strong mentorship to marginalized trainees, and COVID strengthened that timings and the number of neurosurgeons and senior neurosurgeons sharing their experiences. And this is the lifetime opportunity which now is easily available for the new generation. I thank you on personal notes for this.
Well, there's so many resources that are available. It's kind of up to us to pick the ones we want to pursue, because there's so much out there. Yet I guess you gotta kind of define your space on what you're trying to learn. And there's so many courses that you can take that are live in AI or virtually anything. And it's scary how quickly technology is advancing with video. You can almost, I understand you can make a video just from a description. And that is for someone like me and Atta, that's valuable because we want to make sometimes images to announce or advertising by video to announce about this organization. Say, suppose he had a webcast in 2 weeks, and he can easily make a video about that event. I haven't used it much, but I'm looking forward to it, exploring it. The future is bright. The future is exciting as I can ever remember it. And I'm glad to be living at this time in history. What do you think, Atta? You're glad, right, to be alive in this height of technological advances? Or were you a techie from the start, Atta? Were you a techie from the start, or you kind of pick it up because you have to, or what is your status with technology?
So I think this is where the industry role lies, and we are trying to introduce our mission to industry people, and we are trying to find out the low resource solutions for the places like neuro navigation systems, uh, having a capability of preoperative MRI data and intraoperative ultrasound. So this was the work done by the Norwegian group. Um, and the GE made some machines. One was with the name of Sona One. But the availability of this technology to the neurosurgeons and popularity of neurosurgeons, just because they are not used to with the ultrasound based anatomy. So it's very easy to make them familiar with the ultrasound, and the learning curve is very steep. So this is where we need to work more, and to low cost solutions not only are beneficial for professionals and patients perspective, but also industry can reach to those untapped markets where they never went to. So this is a huge opportunity for them as well.
Well, let's see. Anybody want to input anything at all?
I think Anita has
Do you have any members of your organization? Is Amina? Hi, Amina. Are you there?
Hi, thank you so much for having me as a panelist. So I have 1 to 2 questions to ask.
Sure.
Firstly, I wanted to ask about we all can see that the world is going more toward the crisis, especially in the underdeveloped countries, most of all. So, how our organization, Neurohealthcare, can help the members, the survivors, or the people there for their health? We can see the loss of people, especially in the war zone. Many people are being killed and dead, and how we can help them provide more healthcare facilities there. Also, I have seen the you explaining about how we can help you achieve the mission by fundraising, by volunteering with the medical camps and many more. So, how we could get to know about when there is a fundraising event or any kind of medical camp. And the third one is that I agree with your point that there are more of undetermined doctors right now. Especially, I can see in government hospitals that there's a swarm of patients waiting outside for the doctor, and the doctor don't even listen to their full complaint and just prescribe them a random medicine. So, how we can deal with all such crises and circumstances?
Thank you, Amina, for raising very important issues. Um, do you want to mention which city and country are you from?
Yes, I'm from Pakistan.
Okay.
I'm the student of MBBS MC Muhtarma Benazir Bhutto Shahid Medical College. We have a meeting with you on
Oh, sure, sure. You are
Zoom,
part
I
of
guess,
us.
along,
So,
yes, Professor Dr. Faisal Bashir.
sure. So, see, the future generation of medical aspirant students, neuro aspirants, they are very important because they are far much ahead to use technology. So you mentioned some bigger issues, which I mean, when we see the global health work, so the whole idea to start this global health and global neuro health is to help uh, the underprivileged countries. So there are bigger players involved. Um, for example, the global neurosurgery, the UNITAR, from the background from the United Nations, one wing, and WHO wing also takes interest and contributes in many health issues. So yes, the financial challenges, the peace, they also impact the neuro-related casualties and problems. So financing is becoming an issue for the major groups. So this is where we strengthen our case because it's it's beyond the capacity of one group or two groups to cope up with all the emerging needs, needs in routine, needs in war, like catastrophic situations. So, um, where the money will come from, who supports, who donates, that's the big question. And the track record of organizations in developed worlds dedicated to work for many causes, including health and neuro. The track record and data shows that 70 to 80% of those organizations, they fail within 2 years of their inception just because of the fund deficiencies. So this is where I think I don't have the easy answers. So we are trying to play our role. We are trying to tap every potential, um, and every door to find out the supporters, the donors, and let's hope that we will have more people to support us. Second part was concerned, your question's second part was concerned regarding the collaborations. Yes, collaborations are important. So with the in isolation, without the help of other players, you can't do much. And it's not only the neuro stakeholders, it's society, it's other specialities, the management. So this is where we need to learn more. So being a student, um, your generation um, must learn all these issues also if you want to go to global neurosurgery career in future. So you have to have more broader idea of issues and the problems. So, healthcare worker trainings is fundamentally important, and we would like to provide those opportunities for healthcare workers dedicated for neuro in future. So I understand that we don't have a precise answer for many financial support systems, but we try to brainstorm, we try to explore with the members, with the groups, with the countries to find out what is possible. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Atta, for your answer.
Thank you. John, do you want to comment on this fundraising and support issues? It's a burning question nowadays in Geneva also, that where the money will come from. So you're mute. John, you're mute. I can't hear you.
Does Anita, do you have another question? Did you raise your hand again? I'm not sure. Perhaps not.
Oh,
Anyways, go ahead, Atta.
yeah. I responded to last question. So if you have any comment for that, please do share your thoughts on where the money will come from for the organizations working for teaching, training, and other clinical ambitions for underprivileged.
Okay, very good, Atta. I think we have a good idea of what your organization is, and I thank you for taking the time and thank you for doing the work and with in the same ball field, improve education. And I look forward to working with you in the future.
Sure.
So
Thank
we'll
you.
end this formally. You can hang around. I'm just going to end this formally. Thank you, everybody.